Let's begin with a simple but profound idea. Success is not an event, it's a habit. Now I want you to really take that in. Success doesn't happen in one grand moment. It's built piece by piece, day by day, through the things we do consistently. Our habits shape who we are. They shape our future. If you take a moment to reflect, you'll realize that everything you've ever achieved or failed to achieve has been the result of the habits you've developed over time. The good news is, you get to decide what those habits are. And once you take control of your habits, you take control of your destiny. Now, here's the question I want you to ask yourself. What kind of person am I becoming because of the habits I've developed? Are your habits pushing you forward or are they holding you back? You see, you're either moving towards your goals or away from them, depending on the habits you choose to nurture. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on today. 7 habits. 7 simple things that, if practiced daily, will transform your life. You see, you don't need a massive breakthrough to change your life. You don't need one big success that makes everything else fall into place. What you need is to take small, consistent steps each and every day, and the results will blow you away. As Jim Rohn said, if you will change, everything will change for you. And how do we change? It's not by waiting for the right moment or for life to hand us a miracle. It's by changing what we do day in and day out, our habits. So, as we go through these 7 habits, I want you to think of them not as a list of things to do, but as a guide for becoming the person you need to be to achieve all you've ever dreamed of. These habits will not only improve your productivity, your finances, and your relationships, but they will transform your mindset, and when you change your mindset, you change everything. Let me be clear. These habits are simple. They're not easy, but they are simple. They are easy to understand, but they require discipline and persistence. And discipline is the bridge between where you are today and where you want to be. As we go along, I'll show you how to build that bridge. One small step at a time. So, if you're ready to change your life, to step into your true potential, then let's dive into these 7 habits. These are the habits that will get you to the life you've always wanted. Now, let's talk about the first and most powerful habit you can develop, the habit of self-discipline. And let me tell you right off the bat, without discipline, nothing else works. No matter how brilliant your ideas, no matter how grand your dreams, without discipline, you'll never achieve them. In fact, discipline is the bridge between your goals and your accomplishments. Think about it for a moment. Every successful person you've ever admired, whether it's a business mogul, an athlete, or an artist, has one thing in common. They have mastered the art of discipline. They have learned to do what they need to do, when they need to do it, whether they feel like it or not. And that's the key to success. Doing what's necessary, not just what's comfortable. I'll give you a real example. When I was first starting out, I didn't have much. I didn't have the success, I didn't have the money, and I didn't have the connections. But what I did have was a deep desire to change my life. And the way I changed it was by making the decision to be disciplined. I started waking up earlier, planning my day, setting clear goals, and sticking to those goals no matter what. The discipline to do this every day, whether I was tired, discouraged, or tempted to take shortcuts, is what eventually led me to success. And let me tell you, discipline is a muscle. It grows stronger the more you use it. Just like you wouldn't expect to lift heavy weights the first time you step into a gym, you can't expect to be disciplined from day one if you haven't practiced it. The key is to start small, build momentum, and keep pushing yourself just a little bit further each day. That's how discipline works. It's about small daily actions that build up over time. Now, I want you to think about something. What are the areas of your life where you're not being disciplined? Is it your finances? Maybe you're not saving like you should. Is it your health? Maybe you're skipping workouts or neglecting to eat right. Is it your relationships? Maybe you're not giving them the attention they need. Whatever area it is, I want you to commit today to start practicing discipline in that area. You don't need to be perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Start with small steps. Perhaps you'll set a goal to save 10% of your income every month, or you'll commit to working out 3 times a week. Maybe you'll dedicate 30 minutes a day to self-education. The important thing is to start, to make the decision to do what's necessary, and then to keep doing it consistently. As Jim Rohn said, discipline is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without it, you have no foundation. You may have some temporary wins, but without discipline, those wins will slip through your fingers. But with discipline, you create a solid foundation for lasting success. So right now, I want you to ask yourself, what can I start doing today to build my self-discipline? Maybe it's something small, waking up 15 minutes earlier, or spending 5 minutes planning your day, but start. That's where success begins, when you make the decision to practice discipline daily. Now let's move on to a habit that can truly transform your life, the habit of lifelong learning. This habit is powerful because it doesn't just change your present, it transforms your future. Self-education is one of the most valuable investments you can make in yourself. As Jim Rohn often said, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. You see, formal education teaches you the basics, the tools you need to survive in the world, but self-education is what equips you to thrive. It's how you get ahead. It's how you acquire the skills and knowledge that set you apart from everyone else. In this fast-changing world, the people who keep learning are the ones who keep growing. I'll tell you something that changed my life. When I started reading books, listening to audio programs, and attending seminars, everything changed. I used to think that education stopped after school, but I quickly realized that successful people are always learning, always expanding their minds. They understand that the more they learn, the more valuable they become. And let me tell you, value is what attracts success. You don't need to go back to school to learn. You can learn at any time, from anywhere, and from anyone. In fact, many of the world's most successful people are self-taught. They read books, they listen to experts, they study successful people and learn from their experiences. Learning doesn't just happen in classrooms. It happens in your daily life if you open your mind to it. I want you to think about something. What are you doing today to invest in your own education? Are you reading a book that can help you grow? Are you listening to a podcast that challenges your thinking? Are you seeking out people who can teach you new skills? If not, I want to challenge you to start today. Dedicate 30 minutes each day to learning something new. It could be a book on finance, a course on leadership, or even a documentary that expands your view of the world. Let me give you a tip. The best way to learn is to teach. When you learn something new, share it with others. This will reinforce your understanding and give you even deeper insights. You don't have to be an expert to share what you know. In fact, teaching what you're learning helps you solidify the knowledge and put you on the path to mastery. Remember this. The more you learn, the more you earn. Knowledge is power, and in today's world, it's a powerful currency. The more you educate yourself, the more opportunities will open up for you, whether it's in your career, in your relationships, or in your personal growth. So, make a commitment today to become a lifelong learner. Set aside time every day to grow. If you've been reading the same book, go ahead and pick up a new one. If you've been listening to the same podcast, try one that challenges you in a different way. The more you learn, the more you will have to offer to the world, and the more success will come your way. Let's move on to a habit that will serve as the roadmap for everything you do. The habit of setting goals. Now let me ask you, do you have a goal? Or better yet, do you have clear, defined goals that you're actively working towards? Because without a goal, you're like a ship without a rudder, just drifting wherever the wind takes you. Jim Rohn once said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. That's the hard truth. Life will pull you in all kinds of directions, and if you're not intentional, you'll end up where you didn't plan to be. Goals are what give your life direction. They give you focus and purpose, and they give you something to aim for every day. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I already know about goal setting, but here's the difference between people who set goals and those who achieve them. The key isn't just in setting goals. It's in the discipline of following through on them every day. Setting a goal is easy. Sticking to it is where the work comes in. Here's a principle I want you to remember. Goals without a plan are just wishes. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful. That's too vague. You need a specific goal, something measurable, something with a deadline. When you set a goal, make it SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. The more specific your goal, the clearer your path becomes. Let me share a personal story. When I started out, I had big dreams, but I didn't know exactly how to turn them into reality. So I broke them down into smaller, actionable goals. Instead of just saying I want to be wealthy, I set specific goals like I will save 10% of my income every month, or I will read 1 book a month on personal development. Those goals, small as they seemed, kept me focused and on track. Here's something else you should know. You must set both short-term and long-term goals. Your long-term goals will give you vision what you want to achieve 5, 10, or 20 years down the line. But your short-term goals are what you need to focus on every single day. Every small action you take today brings you one step closer to your bigger vision. So, I encourage you to think about your goals right now. What do you want to achieve this year? In the next 3 years? In the next 10 years? And then break those goals down into daily actions. Start today. Write them down. As Rohn says, the major key to your better future is you. And that starts with setting goals that are meaningful and then following through on them consistently. Remember this, if you don't know where you're going, you might never get there. Goals give you clarity, they focus your energy and direct your efforts. Without goals, you'll wander through life unsure of your direction, but with clear goals, every day becomes an opportunity to move closer to the person you're meant to become. So let's make this real. What goals will you set today? Write them down, commit to them, and remember, every successful person you admire began with a simple goal, one that they worked towards every day. Start today, and you'll be amazed at how your life can change in just a few months, and even more in a few years. Now, let's talk about a habit that will profoundly impact your life, even more than the habits you have within yourself. It's the habit of surrounding yourself with the right people. You've heard it before, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And let me tell you, that's not just a catchy quote, it's one of the most profound truths in personal development. The people you associate with will either lift you higher or pull you down. Jim Rohn was very clear about this. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So let me ask you, who are the 5 people you're spending the most time with right now? Are they the kind of people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to become the best version of yourself? Or are they the kind of people who drag you down, keep you stuck, or make excuses for why things can't change? The people in your life have an incredible influence over your attitude, your decisions, and ultimately your success. If you want to grow, you need to be around people who are already where you want to be. They have the mindset, the habits, and the strategies that you need to learn. The right people will encourage you, offer you wisdom, and show you what's possible. The wrong people, they'll make you question your dreams, settle for mediocrity, or worse, convince you to give up. This doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life, but you must become intentional about who you spend time with. Seek out mentors, people who have achieved what you aspire to. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to think bigger, to act bolder, and to keep going when it gets tough. Find people who raise the bar in your life, not people who lower it. I'll tell you from my own experience, when I started hanging around people who were successful, people who read, who set goals, who worked hard to improve themselves, I started thinking differently. Their habits became my habits. Their mindset became my mindset. And over time, I became more like them. Now let's talk about something equally important. You are not just a passive recipient of your environment. You are also the person who shapes the environment for others. The people around you also benefit from your influence. If you want to grow, be the person who brings value to the relationships you're in. Be someone who inspires, encourages, and challenges others to do their best. Think about the value you can add to your circle. What can you do to help those around you grow too? Because true success is not just about individual achievement. It's about creating an environment of growth and possibility where everyone, yourself included, can thrive. Here's a tip. Take a good look at your current relationships. Are they helping you or hindering you? Start by cutting out the negative influences. And then Seek out new relationships, people who inspire you to be better, who challenge your thinking, and who support your journey to success. Remember this, you don't just need the right people in your life to succeed, you need to become the right person for others. When you do that, you create a network of powerful, positive relationships that will support and uplift you for years to come. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most precious resources you have, time. Jim Rohn often said, time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Time is the one thing in life you can never get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So the question becomes, what are you doing with your time? How are you spending it? Are you using it wisely to build the future you want, or are you letting it slip away 1 hour at a time? Time management isn't just about scheduling. It's about prioritizing. It's about deciding what matters most and focusing your time and energy on those things. Every successful person I know is disciplined with their time. They don't just let the day happen to them. They make the day happen on their terms. Here's a truth that will hit hard. You cannot manage time. You can only manage yourself. You can't control how much time you have, but you can control how you use it. Time management starts with the decision to be deliberate about how you use every hour, every minute, and every second. Let me tell you a little story from my early days. When I first started in business, I was all over the place. I didn't have a clear plan, and I wasn't intentional with my time. I was busy, but I wasn't productive. I was working long hours, but not getting the results I wanted. Then one day, I had a mentor pull me aside and say, "You're working hard, Jim, but you're not working smart. You need to start managing your time, or your time will manage you." That hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized that if I didn't take control of my time, I would never achieve the success I wanted. I went home that night, took a hard look at how I was spending my days, and started making changes. I began to prioritize my most important tasks, create a schedule, and stick to it. And I'll tell you, that shift in mindset made all the difference in the world. Time management isn't about being busy, it's about being productive. It's about identifying the things that truly matter and focusing on them. It's about cutting out the distractions and saying no to things that are taking you off course. In fact, the ability to say no is one of the most powerful time management skills you can develop. The more you say no to distractions, the more you say yes to your goals. So, I want you to think about your own time. How much of it are you wasting? Are you spending your time on things that bring you closer to your goals? Or are you letting time slip away on things that don't matter? Take a moment today to audit your time. Look at how you spend your hours. Are you spending them on activities that will pay off in the future? Are you investing in yourself, your health, your family, and your dreams? And here's a little secret. The most successful people are those who manage their time like it's the most valuable resource on earth, because it is. You don't have time to waste. So start today, set clear priorities, make a schedule, and stick to it. The more intentional you are with your time, the more you'll get done, and the closer you'll get to achieving the life you want. Now, let's talk about a habit that can change the entire trajectory of your life. The habit of financial discipline. You see, money doesn't come with instructions. Most people are never taught the proper way to manage their finances, and they end up living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to get ahead. But the truly successful understand one thing: money is a tool, and discipline is the key to making that tool work for you. Jim Rohn was clear about this. Income will keep you alive, but assets will set you free. The difference between those who stay stuck in the grind and those who create true wealth is simple. It's not how much money you make, it's what you do with the money you make. You can earn a fortune, but if you don't manage your money wisely, it won't last. On the other hand, if you learn to save, invest, and grow your wealth, you can create a future that works for you no matter how much or how little you start with. Let me ask you, what are you doing with your money? Are you spending it as fast as it comes in, or are you saving and investing it so it works for you even while you sleep? Financial discipline starts with the decision to live below your means. I know this isn't popular advice. People want to spend their money on things that give them instant gratification: cars, clothes, gadgets. But let me tell you something. That's not wealth. That's a trap. True wealth is built through assets, things that generate income for you, even when you're not working. It's about building a portfolio of investments that can grow over time, whether that's real estate, stocks, or even the investment you make in yourself. The rich don't count how much they make, they count what they build. They understand that every dollar they earn should be put to work, not just spent. I'll give you a simple example. When I was young, I had a mentor who told me, "Jim, income will feed you, but assets will free you." I didn't get it at first. I was so focused on earning more money, but I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing with it. I was spending it all. Then I realized the problem wasn't how much I was making, it was how I was managing what I had. I started saving, then investing, and over time, my assets grew, and my income became more passive. Here's something important to remember. You don't need to be wealthy to start investing. You just need to be disciplined enough to start with what you have. Start by saving a percentage of your income, 10%, 20%, whatever you can manage. Then take that money and start investing in things that will appreciate over time. It might be a retirement account, a piece of real estate, or even books and courses that will improve your skills. But the key is to start with small amounts, and over time, your wealth will grow. I'll tell you another secret that will change the way you think about money. Wealth is built through consistency, not big leaps. It's the small, disciplined actions taken every day, saving, investing, avoiding unnecessary debt that lead to financial freedom. You don't need to wait for the perfect time to start. The perfect time is now. Start with what you have and build from there. Remember, the goal isn't to just make money, it's to make money work for you. Financial freedom isn't about having more money. It's about having control over your time and your life. And that starts with the habit of financial discipline. If you want to be truly wealthy, you must control your money, not let your money control you. So I challenge you today. What small step can you take right now to become more disciplined with your money? It could be setting up an automatic savings plan, paying off high-interest debt, or making your first investment. Whatever it is, take that first step. Start today and build the habits that will set you free tomorrow. Now, let's talk about a habit that is absolutely crucial to your success, the habit of consistency. You see, success is not the result of one big action. It's the result of small, consistent actions taken every single day, and consistency is the secret sauce that separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It's the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who talk about them but never seem to reach them. Jim Rohn put it perfectly when he said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." That's right. It's not about doing something huge and impressive once in a while. It's about doing the right things over and over, day in and day out. It's about doing the work when you don't feel like it and showing up even when it's hard. I want you to think about something. What have you been able to accomplish in your life by being consistent? Maybe you've mastered a skill, built a habit, or achieved something significant. If you think about it, it was probably the result of doing something small, but doing it consistently, whether it was a fitness routine, a daily study habit, or working toward a long-term career goal. It was consistency that made it happen. But here's the kicker. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up, doing your best, and sticking with it. Even when things don't seem to be progressing fast enough, even when you're discouraged, the key is to keep going. Let me tell you about my own journey. There was a time when I wasn't seeing the kind of success I wanted. I was doing all the right things, reading, working, learning, but the results weren't immediate. That's when I realized that success isn't just about what you do in the short term. It's about doing the right things day after day, no matter how small they seem. It's the long haul that matters. And I'll tell you something even more important. The most successful people aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who are consistent. They show up every day, even when it's inconvenient, even when they don't feel like it. The most successful people are also the most persistent. They get up when they fall, they try again when they fail, and they keep moving forward, step by step. Now, let's make this practical. What can you commit to doing every day, no matter what, to get closer to your goal? Maybe it's writing 500 words a day towards your book, reading 10 pages every morning, saving a certain amount of money each month, or practicing a new skill for 30 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be much, but it has to be consistent. Consistency is the real key to transformation. It's the habit that compounds over time and delivers results you never thought possible. Think about this. If you improve by just 1% every day, in a year you'll be 37 times better than when you started. That's the power of consistency. But I'll tell you what happens when you're not consistent. You end up spinning your wheels. You waste time chasing after shiny new ideas and shortcuts, but you never stay committed to one thing long enough to see real results. Success is built on the small things you do every day. It's not about making massive strides once in a while. It's about keeping that momentum going every single day. So I want you to ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do every day without fail that will bring me closer to my ultimate goal? It doesn't matter how small. It's the habit of doing it day after day, week after week, year after year that will bring you success. Remember, small actions taken consistently lead to big results. And here's the key to it all. The more consistent you are, the more you'll build your confidence and the more success will start to flow your way. Consistency doesn't just lead to results, it leads to the transformation of who you are. It turns you into the kind of person who achieves their goals because you've developed the habit of doing the work. Now, let's dive into a habit that can unlock the door to true financial freedom, the habit of building assets. You see, many people get stuck in the cycle of earning income, paying bills, and repeating that process every month. They work hard for money, but money never works for them. That's the cycle we need to break. Jim Rohn's famous words, "Income will keep you alive, but assets will set you free," are not just a catchy phrase, they are the cornerstone of financial independence. And yet, most people don't understand this principle. They focus all their energy on earning a paycheck, but the truly wealthy understand that it's not the paycheck that sets you free, it's what you do with it. Here's the big difference. The rich don't just work for money. They make their money work for them. They invest it, they grow it, and they create assets that continue to bring in income, even when they're not working. You see, assets are the key to financial freedom because they keep generating income, often passively, and allow you to live life on your terms. So, what is an asset? It's anything that puts money in your pocket. It's not the car you drive or the house you live in. Those are liabilities unless they generate income. An asset could be real estate that provides rental income, dividend-paying stocks, a business that runs without your constant involvement, or even intellectual property like books, courses, or patents. Anything that generates cash flow consistently without requiring you to work for it. Let me share a story from my own experience. When I was young, I worked hard for every dollar I made. I thought that the only way to build wealth was by earning more money, but no matter how much I made, it never felt like enough. I was stuck in the cycle of earning and spending. Then I met a mentor who taught me this crucial lesson. Money earned today is spent tomorrow, but money invested today will bring you income tomorrow and for years to come. That simple concept changed my entire financial trajectory. I started saving and investing. At first, I didn't have much to invest, but I learned to start small. I bought real estate, I invested in stocks, and I put my money into ventures that could generate income. And over time, those assets grew. They started to pay me back whether I was working or not. Here's the truth. You don't need to have a fortune to start building assets. It's about building the habit of investing, no matter how small. If you can start with $100 a month, then start with $100. If you can't invest in real estate right away, begin by buying dividend-paying stocks or learning about different asset classes. The important part is to get started because the habit of investing in assets compounds over time. And here's the secret to wealth. The more you invest in assets, the more assets you can acquire. Each asset you build leads to more assets, which means more passive income and ultimately more freedom. Let me remind you of something. Jim Rohn always said, "You don't need a lot to start, but you do need to start." Building wealth is a journey, and it begins with making the decision to invest in assets. Once you start, those assets begin working for you. The money you've invested starts earning returns, which can be reinvested to buy more assets. It's like planting a seed. At first, you can't see much, But with time, consistency, and patience, you'll have a tree full of fruits. So here's what I want you to do. Start thinking like an investor, not a consumer. Every time you get paid, ask yourself, how can I make this money work for me? Can you set aside a portion to invest in assets that will grow over time? Can you put money into a real estate investment? Can you buy stocks that will pay you dividends? Or invest in your education to increase your earning potential? The choice is yours. The habit of building assets is the habit that will set you free, but it's up to you to begin that journey today. Remember, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you make work for you that creates true freedom.